Hey, hello! Let's talk about metal! And today I'm coming back to Finland. We'll talk about the band Kalmah, melodic death metal band. They released their first album in 2001 and they released their last one last year, and it was a banger. First of all, I have to say I love every single Kalmah album. I think even the worst is very good, and there's masterpieces in the discography as well. So I tried to rank them. It's not easy, and there's a top 20 song coming up too, maybe tomorrow. So it was even more difficult. So let's start off with my number 9. My worst Kalmah album, which is good. It's For the Revolution, released in 2008. Back then, I was quite disappointed by this album. I think if there's an album that sounds a little bit flat in the discography, it's that one. But there's still great songs. There's still melodic passages. I think that at that point of their career they just wanted to sound a little bit different and do something else. It's often like that with bands that have recorded 4 albums. Very often they will keep the same style for 3-4 albums, and then they will try to switch things up to make it interesting or to just challenge themselves. And Kalmah did that. It's still the DNA of Kalmah, but the riffage is there's not as much melodic lines that there was in the past, and that album also has almost just deep growl, guttural growls, as they started that on the previous album, The Black Waltz. But overall, good album, very good album. My favorite songs are Dead Man's Shadow, Wings of Blackening, and Toward the Sky. Coming at number 8, it will be the 2018 output called Palo. A very good album. I was quite happy with that one. There's some strong songwriting on that one, and I think they were a little bit coming back to the whole formula on that one, but at the same time they were mixing their more modern sound. There's a lot of great memorable melodies on that, great soloing, great vocals. He brought back his other vocals. Pekka Koko, for the first 3 albums, had 2 types of voice: his deep growl, and he has his more melodic death metal voice, which is more like At the Gates, Thomas Lindbergh. I will compare. Palo, it's a good album. The first track, Blood Rankle, is a fucking amazing track. Evil Kin was another single. It's a good track, but I think for 2 other favorites, I will choose Into the Black March, which is maybe my favorite, and Through the Shallow Waters is also a really, really good song. So that's it for Palo. Coming at number 7, this is the 7 Swamp Funny. And I re-listened to all the discography before doing that video. I was in a Kalmah mood for the last couple of days, and that's when the idea of doing that came out. And I have to admit, since the release of the last album, I have been listening to a lot more of Kalmah than in the past few years. It's a band I really dig since their first album in 2001. I was so impressed because at the time I was a the biggest fan of Children of Bodom, and I was looking for other bands that sounded like that. And when Kalmah put out their first album, Swamp Lord, I was like in heaven. It was like such great melodies, such great soloings, great vocals, great drumming. It was a little bit more intense than Children. I was in love. For the seventh Symphony, it was released in 2013, and I think on that album it's like uneven. I was telling the word in French. It's uneven because there's outstanding. Some of their best tracks are on this record, but at the same time, some of their worst tracks are on that record, and that's the reason it's coming at 7, because the title track, I think it's one of the best tracks of Kalmah, for sure. It's so good with that middle neoclassical part, the great solo, and great chorus as well. The Seventh Symphony has some of the best chorus they did. I think Wind Lake Tale is another killer track, and you have Deadfall also that is really, really good. So, coming at 7, Seventh Symphony. Coming at number 6, it's their 2010 output called 12 Gauge. 12 Gauge, I don't know really how to pronounce that. At first, I wasn't really impressed with that album when it came out, and I don't know why, but I'd say it didn't take a long time for me to appreciate it. And with times, I think that's one of the albums that grows the most on me. And maybe in 5 years it will be not on the top of the list, but maybe higher. It's a great record. It's not a flawless record, but close to be flawless. It's an excellent record. I think they have so many catchy moments. The title track is incredible with that acoustic part that starts the song with the little emotional solo. Then it kicks out. It's a roller coaster of a song, but at the same time, it's not a very long song. It's like 5 minutes 40, something like that. I think one of the other best tracks on that album is Wanna Fail. Very melodic all the way through. Typical old Kalmah track. And one of the track I think is more it's more a part of the rest, because yes, it's really melodic in the same way as Kalmah has ever did, but at the same time they have really cool riff that we didn't heard very much in the previous album. I think on the song Hook the Monster, you have really badass riffing, and I really like this song for that. Not just because of the great memorable melodic lines, but really it's a riffy song. I really like it, and it's quite different than all the other songs on the album. Really great album. Coming at number 5, it's the last album, yes, the eponymous album called Kalmah. Really like that album, and it will sure grow on me. It's been like a year I'm listening to that album, and I think it's getting better and better. All killers, no fillers. My least favorite track are quite good. They are the songs that are maybe slower, but still very melodic. I truly love not the title track, but the first track on the album, Haunted by Guilt. It's coming right from the first 3 albums. The influences that track can have been written like almost 20 years ago. I think another big track is Serve the Untrue. Really melodic track as well, with great soloing, great middle part, They are kings at doing great melodic, uh, riffs. Like Children of Bodom were doing a lot in their first album. Kalmah is doing it a lot on their last album. It's not just a solo in the middle of the song, they have a lot of hooks all the way through the songs. Haunted by Gil is one of the most melodic, but Serve the Entry is really nice too in that kind of song. Scarred by Sadness is another highlight. There's so many great songs on that album. I think it's a fair play to put that album right in the middle. They have 9 albums. Coming at number 5, the eponymous album Kalmah. Coming at number 4, and as you know now, the first 4 albums are coming on top because it was the golden period of the band, and it was just a little bit better. I think mostly because it was the melodies are and the solos are so catchy, so memorable that it sticks in your head even more than the last couple albums. Coming at number 4 is the Black Waltz. It took them 3 years because after Swamp Song in 2003, they lost their keyboard player, which I'm a big fan. Pasi Iltula is such a great keyboard player to me. He's so melodic, and I love his work in his other band called Eternal Tears of Sorrow, but he was just on 2 albums for that band too. A Virgin and a Horse, such a great album, so many great piano lines. So the Black Waltz was the departure of Pasi, and Marco Sneck took the keyboard lead, and it was different. It was a little bit more pumping, more orchestral, I think, on that album. The sound was large. That's the first album. Pekka Koko was just growling with his deep guttural voice. He left over the other one, and so many great tracks. Mind Trust is by far my favorite. I think that the opening track, Defeat, is such a masterpiece also, with Terminal Intensity. It's so great, and I have way more track that I'd like to talk about, but we will talk about them way more in the top 20. Coming at number 3 is Swamp Lord, released in 2001. My first contact with the band, I remember listening to the song AIDS. It was the first song I have listened from them, AIDS and Withering Away, and I was so blown away. I was, what the hell? It's so melodic, so catchy. It comes from Finland. Logical. And my top track on that album that is unbelievable all the way through. The first 3 albums are just pure melodic death metal madness. Favorite track, Alteration, for sure. Dance of the Water is a more mellow track, but so melodic. So cool to just I just like the riff. It's so simple but so good at the same time. AIDS is another one that is my favorite. I had an hesitation with using the word that is a real favorite of mine also, the final track on the album. Okay, so coming at number 2nd, it will be the 2003 output called Swamp Song, and on that album I think they have the best production they ever had. It sounds so crystal clear, but not overproduced at the same time. It was a step forward from the production of the first two albums, and the quality of the songwriting here is very diverse. It's more diverse than the first two albums. They were already trying other things, and my favorite song on this album is Doubtful About It All. I think it's a really underrated track. It's at the top of my favorite Kalmah tracks. I think Tarda is another big highlight. Clone Insanity is crazy good, and that's one of the tracks that is quite different on that album. And I didn't say Heroes to Us, but Heroes to Us. It's so difficult to just target three tracks, because you have also Bird of Ill Omen that is fucking crazy. Burbot's Revenge. It's a masterpiece. Start to finish, one of the best melodic death metal album ever released. Finally, coming at number 1, this is They Will Return. What a fucking nasty, memorable album. It's like the first album, but a little bit better. They upgrade their game. Maybe, I don't know, it's nostalgia. The reason that's my favorite. It's very difficult to say between Swamp Song and They Will Return, which is my favorite. And at this next year, on the 70,000 tons of metal, they will play They Will Return and Swamp Song completely, and I'll be there. I'll already booked, so I can't wait to see those two full albums. Favorite track on They Will Return, it will be They Will Return, probably my favorite Kalmah track, maybe, I'm not sure. You will see that in my next video. The Blind Leader, Swamp L. Wow, Swamp L was the first track I listened to that album, from that album, and I was like, my freaking god, what a beginning of a song. It's so melodic, it's incredible. Hollow Heart, so good. Kill the Idealist, so good. Human's Fate, wow, you can't go wrong with that album. My worst track is the cover of Megadeth Skin on My Teeth. Good song. I think their version is a little bit better even, but at the same time, all the other tracks are just better. So, that's it. That wrapped it up. Kalmah, one of my favorite melodic death metal band of all time. And I think you can't go wrong with any of their albums. They are all good, all very good. Some are excellent, and you got the top 3, the first 3 albums, and I can even include the Black Walls. The first 4 albums are just crazy good. And when you think about the fact they released 3 albums in 3 consecutive years, 2001 Swamp Lord, 2002 They Will Return, and 2003 Swamp Song. It's crazy to think about that. How creative they were, and how they can write so many hooks. Anticoco is such a great guitar player. He has an ear to compose really great hooks, memorable lines. He's a big part of that band, and I think that on the first 3 albums, Pasi El Tula did an amazing job, incredible. I would love to hear more of him, but he did maybe 2 appearances, and one is in a power metal band, but the album is just not good. I'd like him to be in a band that is creative and to hear a little bit more of him. Let's go, Pasi. Let's play. So that's it for today, and I hope you will spread the word about metal music, and let's keep together this beautiful community. Oh yeah. Cheers, everyone.